Hi, I'm Mark Anthony.
And I'm Peter Hannett.
And welcome to Futureworx 2022. And we are here. This is going to be our final Futureworx live from Futureworx 2022. Delighted to be joined by Richard Clement from Komatsu. Richard, you are here to talk primarily about smart construction. I had a bit of an exposure to smart construction at the ConExpo show way back when, before the world went completely bonkers.
COVID chased us out of Las Vegas.
No, absolutely. Now, there was a big focus there on the tools themselves.
Yes.
But just talking off air there, you're talking about the way that those tools are now being manipulated. Because I think both in hardware and software, this industry is guilty sometimes of creating tools and then trying to find something that it can fix. Whereas I think we're there now. You've got the tools and you've got the solutions to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at something like ConExpo or even Bauma or trade shows, it's very easy to go and present a product. So this is the product, features and functions, this is what it does. But customers don't get value from digital solutions, from whatever it is, until they do something with it. And the thing with the digital transformation is we need to talk to the customer, understand really what their problems are, what their pain points are, not what they think they are, but what the root cause is, really drill down so we understand that, so that we can then help them by applying the right tool so they can make changes to their process, changes to their organization, the way it works, to actually deliver value. In the past, it's been a little bit of a challenge because that involves a high investment of our time. And it also requires the customer to be prepared to spend time with us answering our stupid questions about why do you do it like that? Why, we have the 5 whys, which is quite painful. But the whole point is to drill down, find the root cause, and then find the appropriate tool, which is hopefully one of our tools, but might not be, to then fix that pain and deliver some value to the customer.
We've been talking as an industry, I think, about this notion of working in partnership with our customers and providing solutions. What you're talking about there really is that paradigm shift. You really have to understand a customer's business in order to advise in the way that you are.
Yeah, and that's been one of our challenges in terms of learning how to apply smart construction to customers. Is we've traditionally, I'm an engineer, I'm not a construction guy. I come from the factory, so I'm used to doing the analysis stuff. But it's about analyzing and drilling down and getting to know the customer, building that relationship of trust, so that when we say we think this is going to work and it's going to deliver this value, that they trust us and they're prepared to go with us on that journey, because that's what it is. It's a journey of change, this digital transformation, and they need to be invested in putting time and resource into that.
This really is a change of mindset, isn't it? Because something you just said there, you might actually offer them a system that isn't even a Komatsu system. So there's no money to be earned there. You are literally just there advising to get the very best for their customer. I realise down the line that might actually come back and pay dividends, but that's a different way of looking at things.
It is, and even within our organisation, it's created some, I wouldn't say controversy, but some discussion, because I'll say, well, we want to build a relationship with the customer. Whereas our traditional thing is, well, are you not going to sell them a machine? So no, I'm going to talk to them about what their problem is and work out the best way of solving that problem, not just tell them they need a new machine, for example. So yeah, but it really does reinforce that partnership with the customer, the fact that you're understanding their business, they're trusting us to give them the right advice that helps their business to grow.
It's interesting that you've mentioned the word trust a few times there, because that is sales 101. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. If you've advised them well over the past 6 months, 6 years, or whatever it might be, then you've built that trust and that rapport, haven't you?
Yeah, and if we talk about trust, a little bit of a different issue, but one of the things we do need to build is the trust between the primary contractors, the clients, and the kind of guys that we're dealing with, because change, like we're talking about, digital transformation, requires a bit of risk, and people are reluctant to take that risk because we have a very contractually driven, low margin business that our customers are in, which doesn't encourage transformation. It doesn't encourage them to take any risk whatsoever because their margins are so tight, the contract's stitched up so tightly that they can't take that risk. So there's lots of trust issues in all of this relationship, not only with us but client to contractors as well. And hopefully, what we're seeing here at Futureworx with what National Highways are doing, for example, is they're recognizing that they have a part to play in allowing contractors to take a bit of risk. Perhaps that's giving them some financial incentive or whatever to enable the innovation to be applied.
One of the things that strikes me is we are still very much in this country rental and plant hire led. Are rental and plant hire companies buying into that as a notion, or because in previous generations it's buy them low and stack them high, isn't it?
Oh, exactly. Excuse me. There still are rental companies who are on that: buy them low, sell them high, get rid of them before the first service. Get the best discount and the best resale value. Definitely, there's still people out there, but there are sort of a newer generation and a more sort of transformative kind of rental companies who are recognizing that secondary services that they can provide, such as machine control, data backup, things like this, really complement the business model. And the environment is right with things like National Highways, with things like HS2, to be renting machines with the connectivity, with the technology. So there will be now companies who are not just picking up the phone saying, I want a 21-ton excavator. They're going to pick up the phone and say, I want a 21-ton machine with TopCon connectivity, or I want a Komatsu intelligent machine control. They're going to make that a requirement of the rental. Therefore, the business model is going to exist. But it'll be a slow change.
One of the questions that I've asked people that I've spoken to today is, this is obviously the first ever Futureworx 2022. Using your crystal ball, what does Futureworx 2027 look like? Does that mean we have plant hirers queuing at the door for this kind of thing? Does it mean that you've just mentioned HS2 and projects like Hinkley Point. Is this now the norm where, even a development of a couple of houses merits this kind of investment?
I think so. I mean, if I look at sort of things like America, some of the examples you see of technology being used in America, there are guys putting things on YouTube about digging basements. So one house foundation using machine guidance, using machine control. They're guys who recognize that investment means they can do that job in half the time or whatever. So yeah, what we'll see is a transition from being very innovative to very quickly being the norm. And we've seen that already. Drones, when we first started flying the drones 5 years ago, every time you went with a drone, it was innovative. People were really excited to see it. Went down to Digital Construction Week back end of last year in London. Drones are a commodity now. It's not innovative at all. How you apply them and what you then do with the data is the innovation. The drone is off the shelf. I can fly it tomorrow, no problem at all. So yes, we will see a speeding up of that adoption and a normalizing of that. And then what we will have in 2, 3 years, 4 years time is going to be very interesting to see, because it'll be about who can use the data to create the best information to give that competitive edge and that optimization based on this massive amount of data that's going to become available to us in the next couple of years.
Exciting times. I guess my final question, this is the first Futureworx. We're at the very, very end of it. What have you made of it?
I think tying this in with the National Highways announcement, the connected and autonomous plant announcements has been really good. We've seen a very, very high quality, high level visitors coming to the stand to talk to us, a great opportunity to access people who perhaps don't get to see the technology hands-on normally. They hear the concepts and the visions, but the ability to actually tell them what is there on the market. And we made a conscious effort coming here to say, let's not talk about the vision so much. Let's talk about what's actually available now. Because one of the mistakes is people always talk about innovation in terms of, in the future we'll have autonomous plant, we'll have this, that, and the other. there's an awful lot available now on the market that people aren't using at the moment, and they need to use that, never mind thinking about 5 years' time. But I think as a show, it's been fantastic. Great people, really, really good opportunities to have great conversations about the practical issues and also a vision for the future.
Fantastic. Well, I hope that all leads to some orders. I'm going to let you go because I know that the show is actually packing up as we're speaking.
Yes.
So if you want to go home to your home, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to do a bit of a quick change, but thanks ever so much, and really appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to play a video because we are about to do a bit of a quick change act, if I can find it. Anybody that's watched these shows over the past 2 years will know that I often throw out to my good friend and Construction Collective colleague, Peter Haddock. Peter is always out in the field. I'm in the studio. But by the miracle of technology, the wiggly finger technology, he's here in person. Peter, you have done Futureworx like nobody else. What do you make of it?
Mark, first of all, a lot of people have come together here to share and collaborate, and it really has been a show that I think has probably done that better than anywhere else I've been. You'd normally have stands and people trying to compete against each other. We've got a show here which the center point has been with Plant Force, that have collaborated with Xwatch, FTC Group, Strickland. They've also done collaboration with Machine Max. They've got Cabelco, Caterpillar, Rockback, Hydrema, all beaming in live from a construction site that is completely connected, showing people how it works in real time. You can see the fuel burn, the idle time, all the telemetry from Machine Max. You can see the Leica Geosystems and the Trimble 3D machine control. At its heart, that was a throbbing heart of the show. And around it, we see all these different players like Spillard, Safety Systems, again, Xwatch coming into play. And then, Mark, what's my favorite stuff is electric. So we've seen Snorkel's new electric machine. We've seen that Merlot Group are having a whole ground upwards machine setup for their new range, which is again fully electric, using the battery so they don't have to have a counterweight for that telehandler range. Then you come outside, and it's been a bit breezy today. In fact, I was talking on the site with Safety Shield, and we were using a Bell 30-ton dump truck to break the wind barrier so that we could actually talk. I'm talking to Mick George and Lynch, who own that machine. Lynch owns the machine, and basically it was hailing outside, but we carried on talking. And the guys were saying, look, how they've worked together themselves to bring the values closer together in the industry around training, technology adoption, all these different things. And then they're talking about how they work together to deliver projects under budget and before time. So we're talking road projects, warehouses, all these sort of things. And then collaborating together to develop with people like Safety Shield a whole system that's based on what Lynch has basically mandated and promoted, the thumbs up training across the whole of the industry. And they've got this shield at the top of the Bell dump truck that lights up with a thumbs up. So when somebody has gone thumbs up to the driver acknowledges that by hitting a button that lights up the shield with a big thumbs up. And that's just so simplistic, but it takes people to integrate together and work together with a supplier like an AI technology. And they were demonstrating how the Bell dump truck could just be driving, and there's a person, a dummy in this case, there's a person in front of them, and the AI automatically brakes it. So you're literally not going to hit that person. Then we come and talk to our friends at boss cabins, at the welfare hire, national hire guys. You come into these these welfare units like our green room here from Genquick Groundhog. It's a nice place to be. You know, it's warm. It's got all the facilities. You've got offices like that, and you think, God, this is the environment which is great. But not only that, there's rainwater harvesting coming in for here. There's lithium-ion batteries underneath. There is like a fridge, kettles, all this sort of stuff, all working better. And you know, when you look at the welfare guys, they've literally they own all their assets, and every 5 years they rip them all apart and put the latest stuff in it. And we were sat in one of those today, and you know, then you move on to the likes of indoors, where we're seeing a decade long, I didn't realize it was a decade long relationship with Sites Zone Safety and GKD Technologies. They've developed stuff together over that long period of time, heat zones and maps to say where the safety incidents are and things like that. We're going to save lives, we're going to save people. And I sat down, and one of the really interesting Dr. Nile conversations with Danfoss, and looking at components, Mark, you know, components aren't sexy, you know, it's something inside a machine. No one's going, whoa, look at that cool component. But 30% efficiency saving on running a component, that basically means that their philosophy is stop using the fuel, you know, use technologies now to stop using the fuel, so you reduce carbon emissions now. And also they've got electric, you know, technologies and electric components that are actually replacing like for like the diesel engine. So you're not having to reconfigure that whole machine to put an electric version in. Well, I mean, I didn't get to talk about the CAP group, but I have done a podcast with Munir Akhtar, who's the lead for National Highways. It's going to come out on Monday now. Wanted to put it out this afternoon, just been too busy. You know, and your guest that you've had on before, Richard, spent a lot of time talking to him on stand about that smart construction. Obviously, you've had the guests from Machine Max as well on your shows today, and we've seen how people are coming together across the industry and going, well, just how can we do things better? How can we reduce fuel burn? The cost is astronomical now with the red to white diesel and global challenges that we face at the moment. But you get that sense of, yeah, you need a competitive advantage. But guess what? All the tech's there. He who uses the tech best wins. And that is a fundamental take home, where I will take home from tonight. He and she who use the technology the best will win. And National Highways are setting everybody else up to win with the CAP group commitments of what they want to mandate. And everybody's now realizes that, I've got to get my act together here. Where can I get support? How can I do that? And for SMEs coming into the market, that's great as well, because you've got people like MDIG that are providing services like a machine control, but also providing the drone and the engineer to set up the smaller site for them, because these people can't afford to spend thousands and thousands of pounds on a super duper drone, but they need a solution. And we kind of, it's almost becoming this subscription service that we say, look, all of these things are around, you know, do we subscribe to them now? No, I just want to dig a hole. I just want to fill lorries from a stockpile. Yeah, but tomorrow you might need complete 3D machine control. You might need a system that's going to tell you what fuel you've used and everything, because you've got to fit in on a project for the likes of Mick George that need all that data and accessibility. And that's the future. You've got to say, right, what's my asset? What have all the other bits on my asset got? Can I switch them on and off? You know, we have people hiring technology and all that. And if I can do that, I can widen the scope of the work that I can deliver. And that's where the electric journey is going, folks. People talk a lot about electric, and I talk a lot about electric. It's horses for courses with electric, but believe me, that is really developing fast. And, you know, the Hitachi machine we saw, and you had, again, the product expert, the ZE85, I think, that can literally charge from a car charging point. So you could put that into the Tesla supercharger right next to a Tesla, same charging point, fast charging into that machine, and you're off and running. And that had not just that sort of charging fast capacity, it had the whole Z-Tech box that comes with it that can charge it up, but also it comes with 3D machine control. So not only that, you've got an electric machine, fully chargeable, 3D machine control on it. What more could you want if you're on the road to net zero? And that's exactly what National Highways is on the road to. So, Mark, I'm exhausted.
I bet you are. I am going to ask you a couple more questions. First and foremost, you've mentioned the word collaboration quite a few times in what you were just saying. And I think the vibe from the show was precisely that. You got the impression that all of the stands and all of the visitors want Futureworx to succeed.
Yeah, 100%. Look, everything's a gamble when you put on a show, particularly at this time that we're in, these challenging times that we're in. But the braveness of the CEA to do that, and the vision of National Highways to be the lead sort of organization involved in that, has actually done something for the industry that has never been done before in this plant earthworks wider community that serve the industry. You know, we've had Plant Works, we've had Hillhead. They are big shows, but this is the first time we've been able to have someone that has got billions of pounds to spend in National Highways saying, we want you all to have the opportunity to learn about our journey and how you fit in. And you can, you know, there are senior level, board level director people in here that were literally just talking to people. Anybody that wanted to talk to them, ask questions, totally accessible organization. This has all been made part by vision from the CEA to say, look, we've got to do something. This is ultimately what an organization like them is all about, supporting their members, but supporting the industry. And I'm just absolutely delighted. It's been so good. I've learned so much more than I could have possibly expected. And I've been welcomed by everybody that have come on stand. So have you. Come on stand. Do you want to go live with me? Absolutely, I do, Peter, because I just want to talk and share my knowledge with everybody, not just at this event, but in the wider community and your channels, you know, Diggers and Dozers, my own channels. We've all come together. And to close off the collaboration piece, this is what we've done right today. You know, you, me, and Freddie have collaborated together to put this whole piece together. We've been given a green room by Jane Quick Groundhog at absolutely no cost to ourselves. And, you know, the CEA has put their trust in us to get the message out. And I think we've done the best possible thing we have. I've never worked so hard in my life. I've never seen so many excited people to talk about what they're doing. And for you to be able to come live from the show here with help also from our friends at Blinks is just phenomenal. Taking the show on the road. This is not going to be the first and only time, Mark. We're going to do a lot more of this.
No, I totally agree. One of the things that really struck me is that the CEA have recognised when you look at excavators and dump trucks and site dumpers, yes, we have got changes in fuel systems and that sort of thing, but by and large, changes within the hardware, the actual iron, is kind of incremental.
Yeah.
What is happening in the technology sphere, which is obviously the bit that you're primarily interested in, there is an absolute explosion, and I think the CEA and National Highways have captured that in an unprecedented way.
Yeah, 100%. You know, for me, it's like we have gone, like we're doing right now, folks, real time. This show has been broadcast real time as the show's on. We've gone and seen how people are doing real time from Plant Force, beaming in real time to this. National Highways has said, this is how we are bringing in technology, and we can see real time what's happening on the road network. Well, why can't we see real time is what's happening on the maintenance of the road network and the new roads and infrastructure that we're building? Well, we can, and we can change it, and we can look at it, and we can do a digital rehearsal, and we can have a digital twin, and we can show what we've done today, what we're doing tomorrow. We can keep everything on track, and for National Highways, keep those roads open and keep us all driving. Every traffic jam we have, Mark, that's also using carbon emissions when it shouldn't be. It's the equivalent of the idle time for the excavator. So everybody wants this, and the pandemic has, if it's done one thing, it's brought this industry closer together, because they've talked more and they've had to talk more over Zooms, over things like this, and we've talked more. And you're into it's probably nearly 300 shows or more now, and that's allowed us to communicate in a different way. And who'd have thought? I've been sat in a porta cabin listening to some other guys load up their porta cabin outside us, broadcasting live from an event which I fully wholeheartedly have been behind from the first conception, and we've always said, look, we'll support you with the best we can, and I hope we've done that.
I can see we've got some comments, so I'm going to ask you a question. I'm then going to hand you a mic. This system on the dump truck with the thumbs up.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Okay.
To make it truly popular, truly universal.
Yeah.
I think we should name it the Nick Drew button.
Well,
because he is
right.
famous for
famous for the double thumbs.
So you take that and tell